Góðan daginn and welcome to Project Pal. My name is Gullinder. I have this weird little podcast about yarn called the Project Pal because I have projects and they have pals and I just keep piling on top of it and not finishing anything because that is my style. My name is Gullinder. I probably said that before. I cannot remember anything for 5 seconds. I mostly talk about yarn, about knitting and crocheting. I also talk about the weather, and for the past weeks I've been talking about the earthquakes that have been happening in the southwestern peninsula, or the southwestern part of Iceland. Not anymore because those earthquakes led to an eruption. This is really cool. Now, about me, I am perfectly safe. I am pretty much as far away from the areas as you can be while on the same island. I live in the eastern fjords, so I am hundreds of kilometers away from the eruption zone. Having said that, the eruption itself is harmless. I say harmless with quotation marks because no eruption is absolutely 100% harmless. We are talking about literally a fissure opening in the ground. Excuse me. Oof! I'm having burpees like the planet. But yeah, we are talking about literal fissures, cracks, big cracks opening in the surface of the planet with magma coming up. But it is relatively harmless in the sense that it is not explosive. There aren't any like kaboomies like when you have eruptions under a glacier. More familiar with those ones. It's not very ashy. There are gases and they have been, a bit of a bother for the past days, but it's an eruption. That's what happens. This is the fun part. This is nature. But it is, on the grand scheme of things, relatively harmless. Now, having said that, some people have been a little bit irresponsible around the eruption. And keep in mind, there have been thousands of people who have been going up there. Which is a little bit mind-blowing to me because I'm like, because not only, it's a bit more of a danger than I am personally fond of, but also we are still in a pandemic and there have actually been cases linked to the eruption because people have not been wearing their masks. So not sure how I feel about that. I feel that's rather stupid, but we are all humans and humans are not necessarily the smartest animal on the planet. But listen, I am however thinking still. I am filming this on Sunday. It is the 28th of March. It's 3:30. This is actually like my 4th or 5th attempt at filming this because I don't really have a plan for today because I didn't really need to crochet much last week. But last Sunday, I think it was Sunday rather than Monday. Like, listen, you can understand that there have been never-ending broadcasts about the eruption because something is always happening, and also because there's a lot of people. You need to keep them informed. You need to tell them like, yeah, no, you can't use this path because the gases have settled there and it is very dangerous. You're gonna have to use this path because we all know how humans are. We all know how humans are because we are human. They can't close the area because they know how humans are. If they close the area, if they close all the roads and the paths, people are still going to go to the eruption zone. They're just going to take another path that is probably more dangerous. So, the police and emergency services and the volunteer rescue units, they have made the decision to keep open just to control the flow. Because that's the only thing you can do with humans. We are such chaotic creatures. We are such we are such a force of nature. You can't control humans. You can influence them. You can direct the flow, but you cannot keep them away from the eruption. But I am still thinking about, I think it was on Monday, doesn't really matter, but they were having this like broadcast from the eruption, and they just show this really cute little shot, like this super happy. I have not seen a human being this happy, this just in a state of euphoria in such a long time. Like, it was such honest, heartfelt, genuine happiness. It was so I don't have the words for it. So they were talking to, I think it was the president, because they flew him out to see what is happening, see basically using our president to say, hey, let's keep our common sense, please, thank you. But then they show a shot of this guy who is just walking up the hill, just be exploding with happiness, and it's a little bit telling that they only have his first name. They didn't have a last name or anything, because he was obviously so happy that they were only able to get his first name out of the guy. Vasily, I do remember that, Vasily. And he was just exploding with happiness being there. Experiencing this eruption, just like he said, this is probably my one and only chance in my life. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna experience it. And he was talking about like the heat from the eruption. It was snowy. It was not the nicest weather up. There hasn't been for the past week. But so he had left his coat and sweater down, down where the rest of his stuff was, and because it was so hot. And just seeing this man being so happy, just exploding with happiness, it was like a child on their first Christmas. It was so cute. Less cute was from another news broadcast. I can't remember what it was, Saturday, it was a little bit earlier, like a day or two earlier. That wasn't nearly as cute. Excuse me. So this guy, with apparently a group of friends, decided that it was prudent to drag a suitcase with him up to the eruption zone, so that he could pose on top of recently cooled down lava with his suitcase for photos. The things that people do for social media points is just like, we all know that the most extravagant, the most dramatic, the most like clickbaity images are the ones that get most popular, but for heaven's sake, people, this is not the place. Recently cooled down lava is not your friend. Recently cooled down lava is extremely unstable. You cannot trust it. It is... If it gives way and you are on top of it, lying down for the cameras, third-degree burns are the least of your worries. I can't remember how warm the lava could get. Like, I've heard like 1200 degrees Celsius, which is a lot. Like, some people just leave their common sense at a rock somewhere before they reach the lava zone, but hey, at least no one has been seriously injured. Like, some people have like twisted their ankles and stuff because they couldn't see in the dark while getting to and from the zone, but for the most part, we have been extremely lucky considering the amount of people there. Like, holy. But yeah, it's a bit chaotic. Like, not at the same time, not. It hasn't been that chaotic because we've had thousands of people go up there, but yeah, yeah. No, personally, if I had the opportunity to go there, I probably would. Like, yes, because well, if I had proper equipment and at least 2 people to go with me, and water and something to eat, and GPS and gas measuring equipment, and at least 1 or 2 emergency contacts knowing about me, because I'm like, listen, I want to go, I would love to go, but it's a dangerous area. Like, I am perfectly aware of the fact that this is extremely dangerous. This isn't safe. This isn't a carnival show. This is the power of the planet, and the area is not safe. But I would still like to go. Like, I have been collecting magazines for the past days. Like, this is from last Saturday. It's one of the first pictures taken. Like, yes, I would like to go see this. This is from Monday. Like, just these pictures. Just look at it. It's pretty. This from Tuesday. Another one from Tuesday. Yeah. Another one from Tuesday. You can see it gases pretty well. The blue thing here. Very not safe. But and the twin images from Wednesday. Like, you can see properly like the landscape from above and the gases collecting. I had Wednesday too, didn't I? I think I showed you all of them. But yeah. So I've been collecting the newspapers because I want to keep them and see what the developments are. Like, later on, like, that's gonna be so cool. Because this is probably a Dinkycos. Don't know the English term, but Dinkya is a type of mountain. And this area, Geldingadali, this valley, is probably, well, it's not gonna be a valley anymore, is it? It will disappear into the annals of history. The only remains will be our historical records. Like, can you imagine, 1,000 years from now, people will not know that this used to be a valley. A valley. I cannot pronounce that word. That's so weird. It's such a weird word. Like, but Dingygas, like, this might be one of them. Meaning, this might become a mountain. This valley might become a mountain. It's so cool. But, as for everything else in my life during the past week, I have been lazy. Like, although yesterday, the Saturday, I didn't even get out of my pajamas. I just sat around and I read. I had a good day yesterday. As for knitting, yet again, wasn't very productive. But, that's okay. Some get those type of days and weeks. That's okay. Because there isn't a deadline. I had planned to, like, cast this cowl on and have it finished because the concert does is just so funny, unfitting. But that didn't work out because, pro tip, do not cast on when you had a glass of 2 or 3 of your favorite wine, because, like, it's a lot of fun though. It's a lot of fun casting on and knitting when you're not quite sober, but just the casting on, I got it wrong so many times. I had to frog again and again, and any kind of yarn is not gonna be your best friend if you frog it like 5 or 6 times. Also the knitting, like in this pattern, it's called the Noble Cowl. I will link it down below because it is a really, really pretty pattern, and I do intend to, continue with it. the first 2 rounds you pull 2. Somehow I managed to not connect in a circle like you're supposed to do, and I somehow managed to go backwards. So there was at least 1 or 2 mistakes, and I'm like not quite sober, and I will admit that. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to put this aside and take a look at it in the morning. I did. So not only did I not connect, not do the first 2 rounds. I mean, that was, the beginning was wrong. I also managed to twist the cast on, so I was actually knitting in a loop, a figure 8. So I had to frog everything. Thankfully, I hadn't done like anything more than just the 2 first rounds, but still like quite a bit annoying. And the yarn was getting really tired of me, so it's a bit of a struggle. Also because I've been trying to do any kind of knitting after work this past week, and this past week has been rather tiring when it comes to work. The week before we had a heat wave. This past week we had a cold wave, and had quite a bit of snow. So it's a bit funny. Typical spring. But because of that, it's also been dark. And the yarn that I'm using is, listen, it's the Lion Brand Landscapes. I've shown you this before. And the colorway Volcano, for obvious topical reasons. Like, where can I find this again? Yes, I can. Somewhere. Oh yeah, that's one. Like the colors here, like the black and the wonderful orange and the golden. That doesn't quite. So pretty, so pretty. It is so well represented with this yarn, like these colorways. But obviously I want to make a cowl because it's cold outside, and with this yarn that's called Volcano because topical. Failed in that. Mainly because by the time that I get home from work, it is rather dark and my eyes are tired. And because the beginning of this yarn is rather dark. So I was my original plan was to knit this weekend, but I've been lazy this weekend, so that hasn't quite happened. But that's my excuse. I've been lazy. So yeah, I made no progress with anything. Because I've been tired, I've been lazy, and I've been watching the eruption. Which, by the way, I'm gonna link down below also. What's it called in English? The Icelandic station roof. The Icelandic National Television. Yes. Haha. It's not complicated words. Why couldn't I remember them? But I'm gonna link down below their YouTube channel because they have been streaming directly from the eruption zone, both on one of the channels on TV and also on YouTube. So I'm gonna link that down below. So not a lot to say this week, but yeah, not a lot to say. She says, having said a lot about the eruption. Hopefully next week I'll have something else to talk about. Like, I'm actually fitness something. We'll see. I keep saying that, but we'll see. But yeah, I'm probably gonna keep you more posted about the eruption because it's gonna be so cool to see what it's gonna do next. And hopefully I'll have something done. But I've been having fun. I've been reading. I've been reading quite stories on the internet. It is called, what is it called? Like manhwa? Korean web stories. I don't remember what it's called, but they're like stories or web pages that you can visit on your phone, and the stories are written in like small, really nice sizable chunks. So you have these little chunks of story or chapter that is absolutely perfect to read when you're on break. And because they are these little bite-sized pieces of story, you kind of get hooked really easily. And I recently discovered like a comic adaptation on the internet, so I've been sinking into that as well. So yeah, so that's where I've been for the past, well, this weekend at least. But yeah, I'm probably gonna continue reading after I film this. So hey, yep, this has been me this weekend. See you later. Bless bless.